This story shook Hollywood, an unprecedented confrontation on The View, where Tom Cruise, a legend of the film industry, clashed with provocative host Joy Behar. Cruise came to promote his new blockbuster, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, but no one was prepared for how an innocent interview would turn into a full-blown emotional storm. Joy, known for her sharp tongue and uncompromising questions, crossed the line, and the moment that went down in history changed everything. Watch until the end to find out how it all unfolded, and share your thoughts in the comments. The studio of The View was buzzing with anticipation. Blinding spotlights flooded the stage, and the audience, holding their breath, awaited Tom Cruise's entrance. His reputation as a Hollywood icon, a symbol of charisma and professionalism, preceded him. Dressed in an impeccable navy suit, he walked in with his signature smile, though a hint of wariness flickered in his eyes. Across from him sat Joy Behar, her cold smile and piercing gaze hinting at the storm to come. Her demeanor, a mix of sarcasm and feigned friendliness, was already legendary. Behind the scenes, producers exchanged nervous glances, and the audience's whispers hummed like the calm before a thunderstorm. The tension in the studio was palpable, as if the air crackled with electricity. "So, Tom," Joy began, leaning back in her chair with a barely noticeable smirk. "Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Everyone's talking about the stunts you do yourself. Is this your way of proving you're still young?" The audience laughed, but it was a nervous chuckle. Tom smiled, maintaining his composure. "Joy, I just love my work," he replied, his voice steady but his eyes narrowing slightly. "The stunts are part of the story we're telling. The audience deserves authenticity." "Authenticity?" Joy raised an eyebrow, her tone sharpening. "Some say it's just PR to distract from, well, your personal beliefs. Like your support for Scientology. Is that still your authenticity?" The question hit like a lightning bolt. The audience gasped, some whispering. Tom's jaw tightened, but his smile didn't waver. "Joy, I'm here to talk about the movie," he said, his voice calm but with a steely edge. "My beliefs are my personal business. Let's focus on the film, okay?" The audience murmured softly, sensing the rising tension. Joy, however, didn't back down. Her eyes glinted, as if she'd sensed a weak spot. "Oh, come on, Tom," she said, leaning closer. "You know people want to know more than just your stunts. They want to know who you really are. Are you hiding something behind that Hollywood smile?" Tom sighed, his fingers lightly tapping the armrest of his chair. He was clearly trying to stay diplomatic, but his discomfort was evident in his tense shoulders. "I'm an open person, Joy," he replied. "But I don't think this show is the place for personal digging. People came here to hear about the movie, about the team that worked on it." The audience gave a soft round of applause, but Joy only scoffed, her smile turning more sarcastic. "Oh, Tom, don't be so serious," Joy said, her voice dripping with mock playfulness. "You're used to the spotlight. All those headlines about your personal life, your marriages, your religion. You create these scandals yourself, don't you?" The audience froze. The other hosts, seated nearby, exchanged uncomfortable glances. One of them, Sarah Haynes, tried to intervene. "Joy, maybe we should get back to the movie?" Her voice was cautious, but Joy waved her off. No, Sarah, the audience wants the truth." Joy turned back to Tom, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Tom, be honest, your charity, all those big donations, it's just a way to distract from your controversial beliefs, isn't it?" Tom leaned forward, his face growing more serious. His voice, though restrained, vibrated with barely concealed anger. "Joy, I do what I believe in," he said. "My charity isn't PR. It's about helping people. I don't understand why you're trying to twist it." The audience buzzed again, some clapping, but Joy didn't stop. Her smile grew colder. "Oh, please, Tom. You're a Hollywood star. Everything you do is PR. You're playing to the crowd, and we all know it. Aren't you tired of pretending to be a saint?" Her words stung like a slap. The audience gasped, some whispered. Sarah Haynes tried to intervene again, but Joy ignored her, Tom clenched his fists, his eyes flashing, but he still held himself together. Joy, he said, his voice quieter but firmer. I came here with respect for you and your show. But if you want to turn this into a circus, I'm not playing by your rules. The audience erupted in applause, but Joy laughed, her laugh sharp and unpleasant. A circus? Tom, you're a walking circus, she said, her words cutting like a knife. All these stunts, all these grand statements about mission. You just want everyone talking about you, don't you? The tension in the studio became unbearable. Producers backstage whispered frantically, clearly unsure how to stop this runaway train. Tom took a deep breath, his face taut, but he still tried to maintain his dignity. Joy, he said, his voice calm but with a steely resolve. I'm not here to justify myself to you. I'm here to talk about art, about movies, about what inspires people. If you want to dig in the dirt, that's your choice. Not mine. The audience supported him with applause again, but Joy didn't relent. Her eyes flashed, and she pushed further. Oh, Tom, don't play the above-it-all card, she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. You know what people say about you. Your career thrives on scandals. Without them, you'd have faded from the spotlight long ago. Her words were a low blow. The audience froze, sensing a line had been crossed. Tom stared at Joy, his eyes burning with anger, but he still held himself together. It was clear, though, he was nearing his breaking point. The studio of The View was on the verge of explosion. The tension between Tom Cruise and Joy Behar had reached its peak, and the air in the studio crackled with emotion. The audience sat frozen, holding their breath, while producers backstage whispered nervously, unsure how to stop this chaos. Joy, with a cold smile, continued her attack, her words sharp as blades. Tom, let's be real, she said, her voice laced with venomous sarcasm. You've built your career on this hero image. But aren't you tired of pretending? All these missions of yours, they're just a way to distract from the truth, right? From Scientology, from your divorces, from everything you're so careful to hide. The audience gasped, some whispered, others let out nervous laughs. Sarah Haynes, another host, tried to intervene again, her voice trembling with discomfort. Joy, maybe we should let Tom talk about the movie, she said, but Joy waved her off, her eyes locked on Tom as if she relished every second of this confrontation. Tom sat still, his fingers gripping the armrests of his chair. His face was taut, but he still held himself together, though it was clear his patience was wearing thin. He took a deep breath, his eyes flashing, but his voice remained calm. Joy, I respect your work, he said, choosing his words carefully. But I don't understand why you're turning this interview into a trial. I'm here to talk about movies, about art, about what brings people together. If you want to dig into my personal life, that's your choice. But I'm not playing that game. The audience erupted in applause, supporting him. But Joy only laughed, her laugh sharp and unpleasant, as if throwing down a challenge. A game? Tom, this isn't a game, it's reality, she said, leaning closer. You know what people say. They want to know who you really are. Aren't you tired of hiding behind this hero mask? Tom's jaw tightened, his eyes narrowing. He was clearly fighting the urge to respond sharply, but his reply was restrained, though it vibrated with anger. Joy, I'm not hiding, he said. I live my life, do my work, and try to be a better person. If you want to see a mask in that, that's your problem, not mine. The audience supported him with applause again, but Joy didn't stop. Her smile grew even more cynical, and she went on the offensive. Oh, Tom, don't be so naive, she said, her voice sharper. You know how this world works. Everything you do is for the headlines. Your stunts, your charity, even your honest face. It's all just a show, isn't it? Her words struck like a blow to the heart. The audience froze, sensing the line had been fully crossed. The other hosts, Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin, exchanged worried glances but didn't dare intervene. Tom stared at Joy, his eyes burning with anger, but he still held himself together, though it was clear he was on the edge. Tom leaned back in his chair, his face taut but his eyes now gleaming with a new resolve. He took a deep breath, as if preparing for a decisive strike. The audience froze, sensing something monumental was about to happen. Even Joy seemed to feel the shift in the air, her smile faltering slightly. "Joy," Tom began, his voice quiet but carrying a strength that made everyone in the studio hold their breath. "I came here with respect for you, for your audience, for this show. But you've turned this into a circus. You want ratings? You want headlines? Fine. But I won't let you demean me or my work for it." The audience erupted in applause, but Tom raised a hand, calling for silence. His eyes were locked on Joy, burning with unwavering determination. "I've dedicated my life to creating stories that inspire people," he continued, his voice trembling with emotion but remaining firm. "I put myself on the line to give audiences something real. And I won't let you, or anyone else, diminish that by accusing me of PR or scandals. You've shown who you really are, Joy. And it's not about truth. It's about tearing others down for your own gain." The studio fell silent. The silence was so thick it felt like you could hear every heartbeat in the room. Joy opened her mouth to respond, but the words caught in her throat. Her face darkened, her cold smile gone. Tom stood up from his chair, his movements calm but resolute. "I'm done," he said, removing his microphone and tossing it onto the table. "If you want a show, have it without me." He turned and walked off the stage, his footsteps echoing in the dead silence of the studio. The audience was in shock, some beginning to clap, others whispering. Joy sat stunned, her face a mix of anger and embarrassment. Whoopi Goldberg, trying to salvage the situation, quickly said, "Okay, we'll be right back after the break." But her voice trembled with tension. Producers backstage scrambled, and the audience erupted into whispers and applause. Joy tried to smile, but it was forced. She clearly hadn't expected Tom to put her in her place so decisively. This confrontation became one of the most talked about moments in The View's history. Tom Cruise, maintaining his dignity, showed that even in a world where media hunt for sensations, one can stay true to their principles. His walkout became a symbol of self-respect, while Joy Behar's behavior exposed the toxicity of talk show culture, where provocation often trumps respect. This moment made many reflect. Where's the line between journalism and cynicism? And is it worth enduring humiliation for the sake of publicity? Subscribe to not miss news stories, and share your thoughts in the comments. Did Tom Cruise do the right thing by walking out of the studio, or should he have stayed and kept fighting? What do you think of Joy Behar's behavior? Were her questions justified, or was it just an attempt to create a scandal for ratings? Share in the comments what you would have done in Tom's place, and give a like if you support his decision.